Boss be rising, baby TV's igniting, turn the volume up, yeah the whole world's invited, from the gravel roads to the neon dreams, she built an empire out of broken wings. Boss be rising, sky ain't even the ceiling, when she hits go live, everybody feels it. She's the queen of the comeback.
Howdy. I'm a little bit late, but I'm kind of early too, since I set the time different. But hey, at least I'm here, right? All right, I've settled in because tonight is not light. It's not petty. It's not playlist drama. It's perspective. Welcome back to Ask a Bee. Tonight we are talking about legacy, entitlement, music, ego, grief, denial, weddings, funerals, and the absolute audacity of arguing with someone who is planning their own goodbye. And I need everybody to take a breath before we even start, because this one hits it different. We have a stage for cancer patient, okay? No dramatics, no fishing for sympathy, just someone calmly getting their affairs in order. Prepaid, pre-planned, thoughtful intention, very intentional, choosing music that meant something in their actual life. And somehow, it turned into, but what about my wedding song? Yeah, that right there is where the internet collectively said, excuse me? Now, before we go in, okay, because that's not our first story. Hi, Valeriana. How are you? Yes, I do remember you. Good to see you. Granny, right? Now, before we go in, let's ground ourselves, because this isn't about taste. It isn't about whether you like Bowie or Bare Necessities or Yankee Sax Chaos Energy. This is about ownership. Who owns a song? Who owns a moment? Uh-huh. And who gets to dictate how someone exits this world? Because music is powerful. Music attaches it to memory. It attaches to love. It attaches to people. And you know what? Sometimes when you lose someone, it gets layered. That doesn't mean it's ruined. It means it's meaningful. So tonight we're going to talk about selfishness. Pardon me. We're going to talk about denial. We're going to talk about what grief does to people before the loss even happens. And we're going to talk about the difference between I'm struggling with this and I'm centering myself in someone else's goodbye. And yes, we're going to keep it real, because if there's a moment to be unapologetically yourself, it's your own farewell, right? So grab your tea, grab your thoughts, drop your honey or stinger in the chat when you're ready. Before we do this one, though, that one's the longer one. I'm going to save that one for the, best for last. That's the language you learned. That's okay, because you know what? I used to call my grandmother Granny, and my kids called my granny Granny. And I love the word. My granddaughter calls me something different, and quite frankly, it's because I didn't think I could fill those shoes. My grandmother and my mother were both wonderful grannies. So that's okay. You can use granny with me anytime, honey. You're fine here. Okay, so this other story is a little bit different. It's about, well, I guess I'll just read it to you. How's that? Let's get into it. First off, I got to load everything up here because, I'd like to do it special. I'm going to slide this way. Oh, pardon me, the other way. And bring up the panel because it's a story and we're going to tell it. All righty then. Am I the a-hole for criticizing the music my girlfriend listens to? Get ready for work. My girlfriend's car is in the shop and won't be ready for another week or so. In the meantime, she asked me to drive her to and from work. No biggie, since I'm working from home at the moment. She asked to play her pump up playlist on the way, and I said, okay. Her playlist starts blasting Cardi B and loud, really sexual music. My girlfriend knew almost every word and was rapping along with the lyrics. Hey, I hope you're dancing next to her. Halfway through our fourth Nicki Minaj song, I like Nicki too. They're both good. I had to pause it and ask her if this is really what she listens to on her way to work. Really? I wonder what he listens to. It seemed totally inappropriate, like what you would listen to getting shit faced and hitting on dudes at the club. She explained it pumps her up to chase after sales. Okay, I like to listen to music that pumps me up. It may not be Cardi B and Nicki Minaj. Well, could be Nicki Minaj. Let's see. I get wanting to be high energy to hit the sales floor, but the thing is, she works bridal. Her work consists of convincing brides they have to upgrade their table settings for God's sake. She's not leading a lady gang to battle. She pushes fancy napkins. I laughed at her saying she needed to psych herself up for work, and she said I was a dick. Well, I tend to agree with her. Now her mom is driving her to work and she hasn't been replying to my texts as much. I really don't think it's that big of a deal. I just really didn't like her taste of music and the excuse for her blasting it so early in the morning. Oh, there's an edit here. I'm going to read that before I comment about this, sir. I didn't mean to downplay her work. It makes her happy to be in the industry. And even though I think weddings are overrated, here we go. I'm really glad she gets to work in something she's passionate about. Oh, sounds like somebody made a comment and you had to come back and soften the blow for yourself. Pardon me. I came across as even more of a dick in the post by what I said about her work, but I've never said anything demeaning about her work to her. Not to her, okay? When I laughed at her, I thought she'd think it was funny too that she was listening to intense party music for her sweet and prim job. Obviously, I was wrong and an asshat. Amen to that, sir. I offered to drive her again anytime she needed it, and she probably said no. First of all, sir, you paused the pump up playlist. You paused it, okay? Paused it. That alone is audacity at 8:15 in the morning. She asked for her pump up playlist. That was the warning label. That is not light acoustic bridal vibes. That's not soft instrumental confidence. That is, I am about to walk into this building like Beyonce entering the arena. Okay? And you hit pause mid Nikki to ask if this is really what she listens to before work. Yes. Yes, it is. That is really what she listens to. That is the entire point of listening to that kind of music. You think because she sells upgraded table settings that she needs to be listening to your Inya, Yanni, maybe? No, sir. Bridal is war. Bridal is emotional warfare. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. Bridal is crying moms, stressed brides, tight budgets, and a woman arguing over whether ivory and eggshell are the same color. She is not pushing fancy napkins, honey. She is navigating high stakes Pinterest meltdowns. All right. If Cardi B helps her channel main character energy before facing a bride who wants champagne taste on a lemon budget or lemonade budget, pardon me, then let her have it, okay? Let her have it. Let her have it. And the real issue here, you weren't criticizing the music, you were judging her persona, okay? You heard sexual, loud club vibes and decided that doesn't match your mental image of sweet bridal consultant. That's the disconnect, if you ask me. You boxed her into what you think her job looks like. She doesn't need to be on brand for you in the passenger seat. She needs to feel powerful in her own head. Pump up music isn't about the literal lyrics, it's about confidence chemistry. It's about walking into a room with your shoulders back, reminding yourself you're that girl, right? And you laughed at it. Dude, I feel bad for you. That's the part that stung, not the music critique, the laugh. Because let's be honest, you didn't gently say, hey, babe, this is a little loud for me. You said, is this really what you want to listen to before work? Yeah. Yeah. I have very different occasions for the things that I want to listen to. I'll listen to something like Nicki Minaj if I want to get the house cleaned. Or if I'm ticked off, I'll listen to some Limp Biscuit break stuff. I mean, come on. She's allowed to listen to whatever she wants to in whatever fashion she wishes. And I mean, if you can't fix her car in less than a week, then suffer, dude. Look, that I didn't know you were this type of person energy. That's subtle respect shift. And then you double down by minimizing her job, right? Bridal is sales. Sales is numbers. Numbers are pressure. If she needs Nicki Minaj to walk in and secure the bag, that's the strategy, not stupidity. And I love that in your edit, you realized you sounded like an asshat. Growth. Not much, but there it is. We appreciate that. But here's the Saturday night sting, okay? You don't get to decide what pumps someone up. Someone, some people listen to worship music. Some people listen to heavy metal. I listen to all of it. Some people listen to pure chaos. Still listen to it. I mean, Korn, come on. Come on. Guar. Yes, I'm that type of person. If it gets them ready to face their day, that's their ritual. You mocked her ritual. Okay? That's why her mom is driving her now. This isn't about taste. It's about respect. You could have said, can we alternate days? My ears are fragile at 8 a.m. That's compromise. Instead, you hit her with, you're not leading a lady gang to battle. Oh, God, please. But she is. Every time she is. She's leading the convince the bride to upgrade the centerpieces battalion. Right? What bride do you know that was not a bridezilla? Give me an example because I want to know. And if she wants to march into that showroom like she's headlining a tour, let her. Okay? My verdict here, you're the a-hole, buddy, but redeemable. Apologize properly, not to us, to her, please. Can you read it again? I missed it, honey. You can hit rewind on it. I've only got an hour, so I have to keep moving forward. Sorry. So, like I said, apologize properly. Okay, next time the Cardi B comes on, you don't pause. You let her rap every word. And maybe you hype her up too. Because if she feels powerful walking into work, that's a win for both of you. It is absolutely a win for both of you. Now, of course, your girl, she got some comments out there because somebody's always got something to say, right? Of course, especially me. Here we go. This is a little bit of a conversation I thought I'd read to you. All righty. First commenter. You're the a-hole. Do you even like her? That's a good question. That's a great question. You tear her down for having different music tastes and mock her career. Do you mock and make fun of others in your life too? That's a good question too. Do you want the kind of relationship where you mock one another? That's a good question. I mean, I think it's viable because this guy's, well, he said it himself, he's a dick. He's an asshat all the way, all the way, you know? Okay, so second commenter for real. My first boyfriend, way back when I was 14, a little young, constantly showed derision for the stuff that I liked. He thought a lot of the video games and movies I enjoyed were childish, saying things like, ugh, my friend's annoying little sister likes that. In hindsight, I should not have been dating that guy. Yeah, I certainly hope you're older than that too, dating a guy. You don't have to like everything your partner likes, but you shouldn't be rolling your eyes and mocking what they like either. That's just rude. I hope you're at least 16 by now. This is pretty smart for that if you are. So, you also shouldn't say demeaning stuff about their job. Like it's not a big deal and not something they should get pumped up to do. Very good insight, no matter your age. All right, third commenter. You basically described a guy I dated a few years ago. LOL. He would bring up the things I liked to his friends, then report back to me. Oh, I told friend's name about band, whatever I liked, and they all agreed that it sucks, etc. Okay. It made me feel like he was using me as a comedy routine and his friends were the audience. I genuinely liked his friends, but I felt embarrassed to be around these people after I found out my interest, hobbies, music were frequent topics of conversation. Yeah, I would have a problem with that too. Fourth commenter says, what is it with men tearing down women focused activities, jobs, music, or entertainment? It doesn't hurt any of them that women love Beyonce, Nicki, or Cardi, or like Real Housewives, or The Bachelor, or any other thing that's got a primarily female audience. Let women handle women's business. I don't care what men do as long as they enjoy themselves and don't hurt anyone. Okay. This is the part where the comment section pulls up or pulls out receipts and trauma and says, we've seen this movie before, right? Let's talk about this because this conversation isn't about Cardi B at 8 a.m. anymore. This is about patterns. This first commenter said, do you even like her? And that question, that's spicy, but it's valid, right? Because when someone consistently mocks the things that you enjoy, it stops being about taste and starts being about respect, right? You don't have to love her playlist. You don't have to blast Nicki in your own car when you're alone. But if your reaction to her joy is eye roll, sarcasm, and a mini TED talk about, I don't know, bridal isn't a real battlefield, that's not playful teasing. That's low grade contempt. And contempt is relationship rot. That's the silent killer. Seriously. Second commenter brings up that the 14-year-old boyfriend energy, right? The that's childish guy. We all know him. He thinks maturity equals dismissing anything colorful, loud, fun, or feminine. And here's the thing. People don't leave relationships because their partner doesn't share interest. They leave because their interests get belittled. Nobody wants to feel small for liking something harmless. Okay? You can disagree without derision, okay? There's that's the difference between healthy banter and slow erosion. The third commenter, okay, that one stinks. The guy who turns his girlfriend into a comedy routine for his friends, that's humiliation disguised as humor. It's just not. And once that trust cracks, it doesn't come back easy. Because now you're wondering, are you laughing with me or at me? Am I your partner or your punchline? That's not playful ribbing. That's insecurity looking for an audience. And then the fourth commenter kind of zooms out, asks the bigger cultural question, I guess. Why is it always the woman coded stuff that gets trashed? Why is Beyonce overrated? Reality TV trash, bridal, frilly nonsense. But fantasy football drafts and 3-hour podcast breakdowns of grown men throwing balls are sacred intellectual pursuits. Let women enjoy loud, glittery, dramatic things without it being treated like a lesser tier of existence. Okay. If it's not hurting anyone, why the disdain? Here's the B take. Okay. Teasing is fine when it's mutual and safe. Mocking is different. If your partner feels celebrated in her weirdness, you're good. If she feels managed, corrected, or subtly embarrassed, that's a red flag waving. So yeah, this thread isn't just dragging the guy for one playlist. They're reacting to a familiar pattern. The kind where, little jokes, they pile up until someone starts shrinking. Nobody should have to shrink their joy to fit someone else's idea of appropriate, right? It's not quite right. I don't think so, at least. So, now we do have this other story, and it is a little bit longer, but I'm going to go ahead and take my break just a tad bit early because I forgot something before I jumped on here earlier than what I had scheduled. And that's silly of me, but that's okay because this is such a great song and I know you love it. Be right back.
She came from the quiet storms, built a fire from the ground, turned a whisper to a warning. Now her voice shakes the town. Every setback was a lesson. Every doubt became a key, unlocking something bigger. That's the rise of Boss Bee. When the lights go low, her vision hits high. She built a whole damn network off a promise and a try. Every sunrise, every moment, she's stacking legacy. This ain't just a channel, this is BBTV. A Boss Bee rising, BBTV's igniting. Turn the volume up, yeah, the whole world's invited. From the gravel road to the neon dream, she built an empire out of broken wings. Boss Bee rising, sky ain't even the ceiling. When she hits go live, everybody feels it. She's the queen of the comeback, the storm in the stream, crafting stories out of heartbeats, making visions out of dreams. Got thunder in the hustle, got a voice that cuts clean. Every mic she touches turns the power unseen. So let further spin the numbers, let the views rise slow or fast. Boss Bee doesn't measure wins by echoes of the past. This moment is a pivot, this season's history. Bow down to the founder of the BBTV dynasty. Boss Bee rising, BBTV's igniting. Turn the volume up, yeah, the whole world's invited. From the gravel roads to the neon dream, she built an empire out of broken wings. Boss Bee rising, sky ain't even the ceiling. When she hits go live, everybody feels it. She's got fire in the head, it's got truth in the frame, got a heart that won't retire and a gift you can't name. Every loop, every letter, every dream she sets free, it's a love note to the world sign. Boss Bee. And the world keeps watching as the numbers climb, but she's counting all the moments, not the dollar signs. From the late night grind to the daylight scene, she's building something bigger than the algorithm's dream. Boss Bee rising, BBTV she's shining. Her story's rewriting a legacy in real time. Must be rising, BBTV's igniting. Turn the volume up, yeah, the whole world's invited. From the gravel roads to the neon dreams, she built an empire out of broken wings. Must be rising, sky ain't even the ceiling. When she hits go live, everybody feels it. BBTV, where the stories breathe. BBTV, where the dreamers believe. Must be rising, watch her take her place. This is BBTV, this is her grace.
All right, we're back. Here we go with our next one. This one's a little bit different now. Y'all stick with me here. Okay, here we go. Am I the a-hole for picking popular, personally meaningful music for my funeral? I'm a stage 4 cancer patient, and the doctors have given me about a year to live without treatment, or maybe 2 with. Because of the huge difference in quality of life, I've chosen not to receive treatment. For me, 1 decent year is better than 2 bad years. But that's not why I'm here. Part of getting my affairs in order is planning my funeral. For it, I've chosen songs that meant a lot to me personally, but I've been told it will ruin them for other people. Specifically, one of my friends wants to use a song for her wedding, and she doesn't want all our mutual friends crying and thinking about me during her wedding. She thinks I'm stealing her moment. Additionally, one of the songs I picked is Bare Necessities from the Jungle Book. My nickname has been Baloo for 20 plus years, and I've always sung it to or with the kids in my family, so it's entirely appropriate. So, am I the a-hole for planning my funeral service with music that has special meaning to me, even though the songs might have meaning for the other people? Am I purposefully ruining a kid's movie like I've been accused of? Let's see here. There's an edit to it as well. Let's see. A, I prepaid and pre-planned my funeral so my family wouldn't be burdened with it. B, my music list. Entry, Seating, As the World Falls Down by David Bowie. Roads by Portishead. Entry of Remains, Yakety Sax by James Q. Spider, Rich, and Boots Randolph. Service music. Bare Necessities, as sung by Phil Harris. Into the Mystic by Van Morrison. Death, Death, Devil, Devil, Evil, Evil Songs by Aurelio Voltaire. Kidding, kind of, but my kids are going to try to sneak it in for me. Exit, If I Ever Leave This World Alive by Flogging Molly. That's Life by Frank Sinatra. And finally, the Porky Pig outro from Looney Tunes. That's all, folks. I'm sorry, but I may have to steal his playlist myself. Okay, so original poster has, and this is the gentleman with the cancer, has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the asshole. And I don't think you are, sir. People that have told me I'm an asshole, my friend that wants to use As the World Falls Down by David Bowie in her wedding, friends that think I'm ruining the Jungle Book by having bare necessities played and not really asshole, but just been told it's poor taste to have yakety sax played as the entrance music for my remains, which frankly I think is hilarious. I also have it written that my remains should be accompanied by a pair of busty nurses and a person in a full body gorilla suit. I mean, your last wish, right? Do it. Absolutely do it. Come on. It's the last, Saturday night, and we have a funeral playlist drama. Say less here. First of all, let me say this with my whole chest. You are literally planning your own exit from this world with intention, humor, heart, and personality, and someone has the nerve to say you're stealing a moment. My friend, we are talking about a funeral, your funeral, the audacity to center a future wedding over your actual death is wild to me. I don't even know where to park that kind of main character energy. I don't. Oh, that is so selfish. Let's break this down properly, though. You're stage four. You've made a deeply personal choice about treatment based on quality of life, right? That alone tells me you are not moving through this casually. You are intentional. You are prepaid here. You pre planned. You are actively trying to reduce the burden on your family. That's not selfish. That's loving. Big difference here in the two of you. And part of that planning includes the music that soundtracked your life. Not generic organ music, not safe beige background noise. Real songs. Songs that meant something to you, that made you you. And now somebody is upset because As the World Falls Down might feel emotional at her wedding someday. Oh, honey, music is emotional. That's the whole point, right? That's why I'm talking about this tonight for Jukebox Journey. That's the whole point. If a song carries layered meaning, that doesn't mean it's ruined. It means it's powerful. If your memory floats through that room one day while she's walking down the aisle, that's not sabotage. That's legacy. If she's crying at her wedding because she loved you and misses you, that's not stealing her spotlight. That's grief coexisting with joy. Yeah, that's adulthood. And don't even get me started on bare necessities. Baloo has been your nickname for 20 years. You sang it to kids. That song is woven into your identity. Let me tell you something. Once upon a time, I was called Bobo. Yes. Hey, Bobo. That one. Okay? By a very funny man. We all loved him. And then he was gone. And anytime I ever hear that name, TV, whatever, I think of that. That is meaningful. Okay. You playing it at your funeral is not ruining the Jungle Book. Okay. Oh my God, that's so petty. It's honoring a shared memory. Anything, every time those kids hear it later, and me now, they're going to smile and say that was Uncle Baloo's song. That's not damage. That's imprint. Now let's talk about yakety sax. The fact that you want that chaotic Benny Hill energy playing as your remains enters, iconic and stolen. That is commitment to the bit, okay? And I mean, I'm stealing it. That is saying, even in death, I am not doing this quietly. And the busty nurses and gorilla suit, come on, that's not poor taste. That's personality. If you can stare down mortality and still plan a Looney Tunes Porky Pig, that's all, folks, outro, you are not the problem. You are a legend. Absolutely a legend. Here's the truth: funerals are not for the dead, they are for the living, but they are about the dead. Okay. And if the music reflects who you were, irreverent, heartfelt, dramatic, funny, then you're doing it right. The idea that you should curate your final goodbye to avoid emotional inconvenience for someone else's hypothetical event, because it's not happening yet. And you don't know what day you're going to be gone. And you can't really, schedule around it. No, we are not sanitizing your life to protect someone else's aesthetic. You are not purposefully ruining anything. You are leaving fingerprints. Please leave your fingerprints. Okay. We need more people like you. And I'm so sorry for your loss here. You are choosing your soundtrack. And that is amazing. Honestly, it's amazing. The fact that you can joke about Voltaire and gorilla suits while planning this tells me you're handling something unimaginably heavy with grace and humor. Verdict here, okay? Honey or stinger. I don't think there's a stinger anywhere except for maybe your friends. Yeah, not such great friends. So sorry about that too. If someone can't handle hearing a Bowie song, okay, at their wedding because it reminds them of someone they love, that's not theft. That's love having layers. And if I ever leave this world alive, come on, I hope somebody plays something that sounds exactly like me. Seriously. Seriously. Hey, Baloo, buzz you later, man. That's pretty incredible. This story got to me and I thought it was perfect for tonight. Seriously. Because music it's intentional. It should be. I mean, anybody that makes a song, don't you think that every word that they've put down is intentional and it's about them? I know a lot of artists that write for others, but there's a piece of them somewhere in that song. Y'all all know I love Dolly Parton, and I'll tell you, she has written so many songs for so many different genres. Not just artists, genres, okay? Rock. I mean, come on. Country, rock, pop, everything. She's written songs for in her entire life. And every single one of those songs that she's written, there's a piece of her in there somewhere. Because you can't just have an imagination like that and not go through life, right? You have to go through it to get through it. All right, we do have some comments. We do. Because you know me, I like comments. All righty, here we go. Comment number 1. Specifically, one of my friends wants to use a song for her wedding, and she doesn't want all our mutual friends crying and thinking about me during her wedding. She thinks I'm stealing her moment. And this is, you know how I do. I use the word fork. We don't drop F-bombs here. I may cuss a little, but just very little. So, oh, for fork's sake, what kind of friend is that? Amen. A real friend would say, I love that song too. When I play it at my wedding after you are gone, I'll think of you and know you are there with me in spirit. Amen. I say use the songs as you want. You only die once. That is a hell of a thing to say, True facts, right? With that selfish attitude, your friend will have plenty of weddings to play whatever songs she wants, not the a-hole. Absolutely, and amen on that one. We're starting spicy and I respect it. Listen, the you're stealing my moment argument at someone's literal funeral planning. Come on, that's wild behavior. A real friend hears that and says, if that song means that much to you, then it belongs in both, right? It belongs there and in my wedding, period. If anything, sharing a song across a funeral and a wedding is poetic. That's life and death woven together. It's not sabotage, it's memory, it's good memories. I mean, because before you became that asshole and said that, you had lots of good memories or you wouldn't have still been there, right? Pardon me, no. Sorry, not sorry. I don't like your friend and her wedding. So the idea that grief might show up at a wedding, welcome to adulthood. Joy and loss sit at the same table sometimes, most of the time. You can't have good without bad. So, yeah, play the songs. This is your one exit. Weddings can be rescheduled. A legacy playlist cannot. Mm, you know? Here's another comment. Okay, can you imagine discussing funeral plans with your terminally ill friend and bitching about their music choice? Yeah, there's another comment on this one before I say anything. You're ruining my wedding by dying. Holy shit, not the a-hole original poster. Uninvite that leech from your funeral. Amen. Amen, sis. Pardon me, or brother, whichever it is. Part of what I forgot to do, I took my medicine, my allergies. It's Texas, y'all. All right, comment 4. Also, maybe she should recognize that she is going to have a freaking wedding and life, and maybe she should let the person who is dying prematurely have the song he wants as a tiny consolation prize for not getting to live anymore. Amen. Right? This thread right here. That's the outrage I was waiting for. Because you can imagine sitting across from your terminally ill friend who is calmly planning their own funeral to make their things easier on everyone. And your contribution to the conversation is, yeah, but what about my wedding playlist? That is such a failure of perspective. It almost feels fictional. And you're ruining my wedding by dying. That's basically what she said when you strip it down. That's not grief, that's ego. And comment 4 nails it. Okay. This person is losing their entire future. Everything. It's gone. No more birthdays. No more random Tuesdays. No more weddings of their own. And we're debating over a Bowie track like it's a limited edition purse. Let the dying person have the song. Let them have the joke. Let them have the gorilla suit. If anyone needs, send me the suit. I'll be there. If anyone needs to sit this one out and reflect, it's not the original poster. If anything, it may be me at this point because I just, I don't even know who this person is, and I'm ready to just jump through the screen. How can you deny a dying person anything? Anything? My God. My God. I mean, seriously, why? Okay, another comment. How much more selfish and self-centered can you be? Good question. Seriously, you can't use my wedding song for your funeral. Wow. What do you even say to someone who thinks like that other than go to hell? Amen. Who complains about their wedding song being ruined by a close friend's funeral? I hope the original poster finds every single great song and uses them for her funeral because true friends will want to be reminded how fun and special their friend is and will not give a damn about a spoiled brat's bridezilla's wedding. Amen. This one is pure fire, and honestly, I get the emotion behind it. I'm feeling it. Because when someone is facing the end of their life and your first instinct is, but my wedding aesthetic, are you kidding me? That feels deeply misplaced. Okay. Now, we don't have to go full scorched earth, go to hell, but the core point stands. And pardon me, but yeah, I would go scorched earth probably myself. True friends aren't territorial over songs in moments like this. They're protective over people. If a song gets layered with meaning because someone you loved chose it for their farewell, that doesn't ruin it, it deepens it. Weddings are about love. So are funerals. If you can't share a melody across both, that says more about priorities than playlist. It really does. All right. I'd spend your last year with better friends, to be honest. There's a good thought. Not the a-hole. Also, love the outro. Amen. Original poster ETA. My fiance had great thoughts on this. Firstly, who cares even if you are stealing your friend's moment? Fork them. I didn't get that one out. That's the last moment you get to steal. Forking do it. Secondly, this should not ruin Jungle Book. While it may make it hard to watch for while um, or may remind them of you and evoke emotions, that isn't ruining. That is just part of the grieving process. Original poster. Be yourself. Also, make sure the funeral home has the instructions so no one can try to guilt your family into changing it when the time comes. People get weird in grief and think everything must conform to their way of grieving. And let's be real, they will still think of you when they watch the Jungle Book. So they may as well hear it one more time. Amen. This person is blunt, okay? Pardon the forks in the road. Um, and I appreciate the protective energy, right? Spend your last year with better friends hits because when you're facing limited time, tolerance for nonsense drops to zero. And the fiance's take, there's a raw truth there. This is literally your final curtain call. If there's ever a moment to be unapologetically yourself, this is it. Grief doesn't equal ruin. If Jungle Book makes someone tear up for a while, that's not damage. That's love processing loss. And the practical advice is solid too. Lock those instructions in tight. Talk to the funeral director that you're already talking to if you're making those plans. Funerals bring out strange behavior. Make it official so nobody rewrites your send off to fit their comfort. If they're going to think of you anyway, let them think of you smiling, right? All right, last one. I get the friend might be in some kind of denial about the situation, but damn. Choosing to be angry at the original poster for a stupid reason rather than try to process that they are going to die in 12 months is easier for now. But it doesn't make this friend less of an asshole. Hopefully, the friend pulls their head out of their ass before it's too late. But if not, then fork them. They're the ones who will have to live with their shitty actions, not the original poster, not the a-hole. Original poster. No one with sense will think less of you if you choose not to invest any more of your precious time in this friend. Agreed. This one brings up something important, okay? Denial. Listen, sometimes when people are faced with losing someone, they latch onto something trivial because it's easier than facing the actual grief. Okay? Getting mad about the song is emotionally simpler than processing. My friend is going to die, but here's the thing, coping badly doesn't erase impact. You can understand where the behavior might be coming from and still say it's out of line. If the friend is spiraling, hopefully they course correct before it's too late. But the original poster does not owe their final year or minutes managing someone else's denial. Time is precious here, people. Spend it where there's love, not resentment, right? I mean, you have so much less time to love than you really believe. And every single day is a moment gone. You need to remember that. You can't get back tomorrow, but you can fix it tomorrow. Or you can't get back yesterday, but you can fix it tomorrow. Forgive me. That one got me kind of riled, because how can anybody say that to someone who is passing away soon? That breaks my heart. That breaks my heart. And they should be allowed to choose any kind of music they want. Absolutely. And having Porky Pig and Baloo, I think that's perfect. I would want something like that. Absolutely. So, all right, Hive, deep breath. Tonight wasn't about music, really, not really, but it was. I mean, it was about perspective with music. It was about ego versus empathy. It was about who gets to center themselves in moments that, that aren't theirs. When someone is facing the end of their life, the conversation should shrink down to what matters, right? Love, memory, presence, gratitude, not playlist, territory disputes, right? Not aesthetic inconvenience, but what about my moment? If there's one thing I hope sticks with you tonight, it's this. Grief doesn't ruin things, okay? It deepens them. A song played at a funeral, it doesn't get tainted. It gets layered. If you hear it at a wedding someday and think of someone you loved, that's not theft. That's legacy showing up. And if you're lucky enough to still be here, still breathing, still planning your future events, maybe hold a little humility, because the person planning their goodbye would probably trade every song on that list for more time. So be bold, okay? Be yourself. Choose the music that sounds like you. And if someone doesn't like it, they can curate their own exit when the time comes. Drop your final honey or stinger below, okay? I read them, every single one. I mean that. And until next time, you guys check out some Tuber Chat and some VB promo, and I will buzz you later.
I want to take a minute to shout out Tuber Chat. If you're a creator who's tired of surface level advice, and actually wants to understand how YouTube works, that's the space. It's real conversations with real creators who are in the trenches building channels, testing ideas. No posturing, no gatekeeping, no fake guru energy, just people sharing what's working, what isn't, and why. If you're serious about growing, learning, and not doing this alone, check out Tuber Chat. The link is in the description. If you're enjoying this show, subscribing is the easiest way to support what's being built here on BBTV. You'll see the join button right next to subscribe. No pressure, no expectations, just an option for people who want to support the channel in a real way. We're live every day at 3 p.m. Central now. And don't worry, we didn't change the heat, just the clock. And if you've got a story you want to share, send it in. Anonymous is always fine.
A boss be rising.